everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. And welcome me back to recording a podcast. So today I want to share some wisdom that has come out of our mentorship program in a conversation I was having with one of our mentees. And I just want to elaborate a little bit more to offer some perspective. And this message and this perspective is for you if you are a mature practitioner, meaning that you have tools for working on your healing practice. So remember that there's 3 parts of our spiritual practice. The first part is about deconditioning and healing. So tools, top-down and bottom-up approaches that are for addressing unnecessary suffering and complex trauma and stress and dysregulation that has been put into place in our mind-body organism, but doesn't need to be there and can be resolved. So when we are working on those pieces and we've got the right tools, of course, there's the other parts of the spiritual method, the cultivating and awakening, which are completely different processes. But when we're working on our healing practices and we've refined our intention, we're pretty sure that the tools that we're using really match up with the issues that we're trying to solve. So we've got coherence and we've got alignment, we've got some refinement. But this is a message for you when you find yourself at the bottom of the wave. And we've all been there. We've been there many times in our lives. But I'm talking to you now, who the mature practitioner who's got the right tools. You know how to identify all these different, maybe you're not perfectly, clear on this yet, but you know that there are so many factors that can tangle together that produce this feeling of being at the bottom of the wave. And that period can last for, any amount of time. And, it could be a mix of all these different issues. For some people, it might be physical body health, energy issues, circumstantial issues, survival mode, schedule load, fear load, emotional load, a load from your dysregulation. For some of us, it'll be a mix of all of those or just some of those. And it produces this feeling of being at the bottom of the wave, of being confused and filled with self-doubt and filled with the heaviness and feeling the weight of the suffering, the incapacity to relate, and the kind of psychological and emotional suffering that can be experienced, and that you know how it feels when you're at the bottom. And I want you to consider, now there's so many helpful messages that I could offer to you at the bottom of the wave, depending on who you are and where you are and what is all happening to help you, move forward. But the message I want to give now is that when you're at the bottom of the wave, it's due to a variety of complex issues that are, some of them might be unnecessary and some of them you might be working on to resolve. But there may definitely be an unnecessary layer of suffering that we add on to that, the second arrow of the fact that we're at the bottom of the wave. And then that gets tangled in as well. The judgment, the confusion, the doubt. Why don't my tools work? Why doesn't my path work? And then there's an extra layer of suffering. And all of that comes in. It's wisdom. It's healthy to question and to doubt. These psychological mechanisms exist for very good reason. But here is a message to help you to put them in check a little bit and make sure that they are helping you in the way that they were designed to instead of crippling you and making your progress stagnate and go backward a little bit and forward a little bit, you can actually support yourself way more when you are at the bottom. So what you need to remember is that it is so amazing that you are interested in your healing work. It's so amazing that you've accumulated the right tools. And it's also, incredible that you practice your tools to help you to untangle all these pieces with the physical body and the energy and the circumstances, and you're trying to improve things. But more important than just trying to tackle your healing work, more important than just doing your tools and your journaling and your embodiment practices and psychotherapy and relating and trying to figure it all out and trying to heal it all and doing all this healing work. It is so important, and so many people never even do it. So many people don't have the right tools, and and some people don't even try. Everything is love and there's no need to act. Everything is perfect. So some people don't do healing at all. So it's amazing that you do all of that. But remember that the place that you're coming from when you use those tools is really important. So you're using these tools to work on this kind of dysregulation and this stress and these patterns that you don't choose. But then you have to actually feel the place that you're using your tools. Is it those patterns? Is it impatience? Is it self-doubt? So you're trying to work on your self-doubt. You're trying to work on a trust issue. You're trying to work on an anger issue. You're trying to work on a feeling of numbness. And it's being led from a feeling of that. I recommend not to pick up your healing tools from that place. Sometimes you will. It's so nuanced. I'm not going to say anything is what you should do forever. But I want you to consider, especially if you feel like you're treading water, especially if you're feeling stagnant, that all this work that you're doing is being kind of, for no reason, or it's being thrown down this black hole because you're practicing these tools. You're doing all this work from a place of pushing, struggle, judgment, impatience, dysregulation, and mistrust. Fill in the blank with the dysregulation that you can sometimes feel at your center when you're at the bottom of the wave. So what I recommend is that you don't even pick up the healing tools and you come back to being. Because there is more to our spiritual practice than just shadow work, trauma work, healing work. There's more to our practice than fixing ourselves. There's another dimension to our practice that goes hand in hand. And actually, funnily enough, this month in our mentorship program, we're looking at being. And you'll be getting a lot of meditations on the podcast about being. So being is when you drop all the tools, you drop all the efforts, you drop the goals of needing, you drop any personal goals, because your being is impersonal. So when you're dropping all your tools, dropping all your goals, and you're resting in being, I hope you can see that that's not a recommendation, a total recommendation for the path. But what I often see and have seen in all of these spiritual styles and communities and people that I've come across is that there's a tendency to do one at the exclusion of the other. And even my amazing practitioners that are mature and that are using the right tools and that know, all of these dimensions, there can still be a tendency, and I was going to say even in myself, but I'll have to check into that more before I confirm that. But there can be this tendency to come at the healing while neglecting the being. You need to rest. And I've actually heard more people speak about this a lot, actually in my mentorship a lot. It's already starting to come out. People are coming to this realization on their own, and it's almost like I'm pushing them. I'm like, no, keep doing this stuff. And they're like, actually, I need to just be. The ideal situation is that you can move between using your tools and dropping all of the tools and emptying out into pure being. And you can alternate between them with the naturalness that your body is actually asking for. The body loves tools. It loves the inquiry, awareness, healing energy, love, connection, intimacy, everything that heals us. The body loves that. And the body loves being. The body loves emptying everything out to zero and just being its universal, like connecting to its universal nature. It loves to zoom all the way out and back, and it loves to zoom all the way in to the finest kind of senses. So how do you come from a place of being? If you find yourself at the bottom of the wave, you feel all tangled, you feel stuck, just stop. Because you don't want to be using your tools from that place as a rule. Like there's so many exceptions to that. So sometimes you're in the mess of it and, you're not in the best place, you're not in being, and you use your tools and it's magic. But this is just a message for you, a recommendation to try something else, especially if it's been like days and days or hours and hours or weeks and weeks or months and months or years and years of just tackling your issues with the tools and not taking rest. There is so much that being offers us. This is a huge topic about what transcendence and our natural state and being can afford our healing, actually. Our universal nature offers very valuable and, I might even say necessary qualities to the healing work that you can't get from just being in your person. So you need to be able to step back into the being and incorporate that more. So I'm going to leave it here so it's a little bit short and sweet. Definitely invite you to listen to this one again. Lots of messages in here that you'll pick up from wherever you are. Come back to this when you're next at the bottom of the wave. Maybe we'll title it that so you can find it easily. And then practice these meditations of being. All of the consecration trainings and meditations are helpful here. And then you'll, as you scan through the podcast and the guided meditations list, find ones that say being in the title or naturalness. But when you're in being, you are not in your work, your tools, your plans, you're getting ahead, you're doing your work. You're not doing that. You're in your being. You're in your rest, gaining profound perspective by stepping back. Oh, it's just magic. We'll go on about being forever. Being. Anything about the heart space and the guided meditations will take you there. So let me leave that one there for now. Lots of love to you, and I'll speak to you soon.